What's going on, my peoples? We are here again, man. We just chilling, man. Today we're gonna talk about the hiring process for local food service, local trucking in general, right? Because I got a lot of people. They're always asking me. They're always telling me, "Oh, I put in the application and I didn't get a call." You gotta understand that most food service company, they have a website, a careers website, where they'll put out a posting of when they're hiring. It's not like they're hiring every single day, you know, so you gotta look out for that posting and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And one thing I gotta tell you guys is that you always hear people talking about job hopping, stuff like that, and a lot of people always giving truck drivers advice not to job hop all over the place, you know. But some truck drivers, they think it's cute to be job hopping, you know. You gotta understand that the better company that you want to work for, this is going to come in play. And when I say this is going to come in play, let's just say I work in, you got to understand, it's not like back in the days. You know, back in the days, way back in the days, you had a piece of paper application in your hand and you walk up to the job, you ask for the manager, "Hey, let me talk to the manager," and you handed the manager the application, and you talk to him, and he can see you eye to eye. And you know, sometimes a man can look into a man's eyes and understand where he coming from with all these jobs and stuff like that. It's not like that no more, people. The majority of jobs nowadays have what we call talent acquisition or acquisition. My wife does that. I forgot what it is. But what it is they have an HR team that's gonna pre-screen you. They'll pre-screen you. They'll call their finalists, and you'll get, most jobs are going to phone interview before they even send you to a face-to-face. And you gotta understand that we're talking about college kids, college graduates that are just trained to weed out the BS. They're just trained to weed out the BS. So let's just say I just graduated from Joe Blow's University. Nah, that's not a good university. Let's just say I graduated from college, right? And I got a job to pre-screen for a big local trucking company, right? And I'm going through the application, and I see that you fill out the application. You're a good candidate because you're a strong person. You can do the job, right? But you had 6 jobs in 1 year, and then I'm looking at another candidate, and he only had 2 jobs in 1 year. You've been driving trucks for 4 years. He only been driving trucks for 1.5 years. You know what I mean? I'm gonna scratch my head. I'm gonna be like, you know what? He looks a little bit more stable than you do. So you know what? I'm gonna send him through for a phone interview. You gotta understand that not everybody that applies is gonna get the job. You see what I'm saying? And even when you do get through, you still have to go to an interview with the managers or the hiring manager at the job, whoever that is. You know what I mean? And I can give you a word of advice. Don't act like you just roll out of bed. You gotta act like you want the job. You know what I mean? I'm not telling you to act like you're going to a wedding, to dress like you're going to a wedding, but I can't tell you what to wear, but Just be professional. You know what I'm saying? Act like you want the job. You know what I mean? One of the biggest ways I see people getting hired in local food service is recommendation. Meaning that, let's just say, for instance, I don't do this often because, I like to I don't like when people let me down. So, a matter of fact, I do this like 0.0000001% of the time. I gotta really know you and know your work ethic before I recommend you. That's why I don't recommend nobody. I don't want no referrals or nothing like that. I don't care about stuff like that. But that's one of the biggest way to get into a job is recommendation, to get pulled in by somebody else. And it always been like that. A bunch of companies, it doesn't matter if it's food service, it doesn't matter if it's corporate world. Recommendation is a big way to get into the job. But one of the easiest way to get into these food service job, you got to catch them when the busy season just hit, right? Like let's just say, for instance, a company is going through the slow season, so maybe a couple of drivers fall off. They're not used to the slow season. They don't know how to manage their money, so they came into the job right before the slow season start. So in their head, they probably thinking to themselves like, "Damn, this is how slow it's gonna be." So they might lose a couple of drivers. It's not gonna hurt the company because it's slow. It might be slow for a month or two. So what's gonna happen is, right before the busy season starts, let's just say, like in a DC, it's supposed to have like 100 drivers, and let's just say in the DC they have like only 90. So right away they need like 10 drivers, right? That's when you're gonna see the hiring process like kick in. That's when you gotta look out for the job postings. Boom, you have a bigger chance. All the job hoppers, you guys got a bigger chance of getting a job then. But I'm telling you, job hoppers, when you're matched up against somebody that's more stable, 9 out of 10 times they're gonna take that stable drivers. One thing I can tell you about most of the drivers that do end up staying in local food service is that they are stable. Like, I can speak for me, I can speak for my friends on this. The majority of drivers that end up staying here are stable. Let's just say we have 100 drivers at the DC, right? You're gonna find like 60 stable drivers that's not bouncing around all over the place. And most of the drivers that are stable that do leave, they're making calculated decision. Maybe they're moving on to becoming like an owner operator, or they're moving on to something else. I can proudly say that, I don't train a lot of drivers, but when I do train drivers, man, I like to encourage them to stay. That's the first thing I do, man. I start talking to them about the benefits. As soon as they get in the truck with me, I start talking about the benefits. I start talking about the money, and I start giving them all the necessary positive reason to stay with the job. You know what I mean? Because I just like to have that track record that people that I train end up staying. If they stay for 6 months to a year, then I feel good about that. You know what I mean? And I can proudly say that this year, or was it last year? I think it's last year, December or something. I trained 2 person, and they're still here, and that made me feel good, man. Hopefully, man. Hopefully they stay. I want them to stay. You know what I mean? Because I like to see people make money, man, and people do good in life. You know what I mean? I like to see people achieve something. You know what I mean? I know it's easier jobs out there. We know this, but if you come into a job like a local food service job or whatever job you want to come into, whenever you want to leave a job, man, you got to make calculated decision. You got to lay out your pros and your cons. You know what I mean? Your needs and your wants, your do's and your don'ts. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes the grass is not always greener, but sometimes it is. You know what I mean? Only you know what you want to do. You know what I mean? But the purpose of this video is to let you know that just because you fill out an application with a food service company, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the job. You're still going to be, at the end of the day, you're still going to be a number. You know what I mean? So it's all about what's going to separate you. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people just need to slow down, man. People, they'll leave a job for any little reason, but you got to understand there's problems everywhere, man. You got to think of a job like a woman. Hey, I know I just didn't say that. Hopefully no woman got to that part of the video, but yo, you got to think of a job like a woman, man. It's going to be problems all the time. You know what I mean? You just gotta deal with it, man. You know what I mean? You just gotta deal with it, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many women you can keep on leaving that woman for that woman and that woman for that woman. You can get them married 1,000,000 times. Still gonna be the same, bro. You know what I mean? That one might not cook. That one might not clean. That one might be mean. That one might smell green. You know, you know what I mean? Hey, that's a joke, man. But at the end of the day, man, you just gotta fill out the application. And sometimes you can follow up and make phone calls to see. I don't think there's nothing wrong with making a phone call to see where your application process is going. You know what I mean? Maybe that might bump up your application to the top. You don't know. You know what I mean? But y'all just stay on the lookout for those company websites, man, to see who's hiring. You know what I mean? Most of the time it's all about who's hiring. You know? But at the end of the day, man, we out here, man. Stay tuned. Got more videos coming this week. It's been a busy week. I'm just trying to take it easy out here, man. Y'all be easy.